everyone, my name is Evie Lupine. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have another video for you all. Today we're going to be reacting to something another YouTuber said. I know, that's not really something I do on this channel. I generally have a policy where I don't like talking about other YouTubers. I'm not a drama channel, I'm not a reaction channel, but I thought today we would make a special exception because the person I want to talk about has nearly 1 million subscribers and also has a history of lying. Because yes, today we're going to be talking about Blaire White. Yes, that's Blaire White, the one that has lied about a trans woman participating in women's sports when she never did that. The Blaire White that has used people in thumbnails that aren't even the subjects of the video, leading to death threats and harassment. That is the YouTuber I am choosing to react to. I am sure my comment section is going to be doing great, but really this isn't going to be about making fun of Blaire or calling names, anything like that. I simply want to use this as an opportunity for some education because Blaire has apologized for some of these things in the past. She has said that she wants to do better, and actually she just posted a video that is directly related to what I talk about here on my channel. She reacted to a documentary about a pep player and their BDSM relationship. So I think this could be a good opportunity to look at the BDSM community, maybe correct some misunderstandings, and also see if Blaire has maybe improved in the way that she said that she would in the past. So what we're going to be doing is I have my little tablet with me. We're going to be watching along with Blaire's reaction. Now, the video that she's reacting to, I have actually already seen before. We watched it during one of my Patreon live streams, so I know exactly what happens in this entire documentary that she's seen. I have watched it in full, so I'm fairly familiar with it, so I kind of know what to expect going into it. But the idea here is we're gonna let Blaire have her reactions. We're gonna take a moment, we're gonna pause, we're gonna talk about what Blaire says, see maybe where she has good points, see where she maybe has some missteps, and then again use this as an opportunity for education and correcting some misconceptions about the BDSM community should they come up. So that is more than enough preamble. Let's go ahead and get into watching Blaire's video.
Your turn.
You know what? Hello, PETA? Hey guys, welcome back to my main channel. It's beginning to look a lot like a Blaire White Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday. I know that a lot of people suffer from seasonal depression and get really down around the holiday time, but for me, you know, I suffer from like always depression with the exception of Christmas and December. It's like December 1st hits and I'm in an amazing mood, even though this year has been... Anyways, but yeah, what are you guys getting me for Christmas? Every single one of you is getting me a present this year, right? Okay, I'll wait. You're right. I'm not gonna spoil it. So last night I was in bed with my fiance and we were both on our phones and he said, Blaire, there's some trans stuff going viral and trending on the Snapchat front page. And I was like, at first skeptical, of course, because any trans stuff that Joey's watching is really not gonna be something I would wanna watch. That's really his private time. But anyways, I'm like, okay, I'll look. And I open my phone and the first thing I see is my partner identifies as a dog. Right there on the front page for millions to see. But you know, because it is the holiday season and I am working on, you know, just being a little more joyful, a little less judgmental, a little more open-hearted and open-minded, I decided to give it a chance and check it out. But I also wanted you guys to watch it with me, so let's watch it.
Okay, so she opens the video by saying that she wants to do a better job with not being judgmental, being more open-minded, which I think is great. Now, the title of this video is called My Partner Identifies as a Dog, and we will get into talking about Truly and Barcroft in their ways later on, I'm sure, but I get that it's inflammatory. I get that that could provoke some initial clickbait reaction, and I think Blaire does kind of have a little bit of sensitivity to that. I see that Blaire is very much like, I'm gonna try to not be judgmental, but like, I still think this is kind of weird going into it. But hey, that's clickbait titles. You're going to see that. You're going to have an understanding of what you think is going to be displayed in that video. And then hopefully the video will prove you wrong if that clickbait title provokes a negative reaction.
The only thing I know about this before watching it is that this is a trans man who is also a trans dog. If you think I'm saying this to make fun of this person, that is not the case. This is literally how this person describes themselves. A trans man who also identifies as a dog.
So this is interesting. Before watching the video, Blaire says that she knows this is about a trans man who is a trans dog, which I think is very interesting language. Now, I don't know if somebody told her that was the case before she did this video. I don't know if she read it somewhere, if she just made it up, but the term trans dog never is said in this video. It's not in the title, it's not in the description. It never comes up anywhere. So I'm really curious where this trans dog implication came from, because if you're somebody who's only watching Blaire's video and not going to the original source, you might just assume that that is the exact language that's in this video when it never actually shows up.
2020, what's good? Bella, look, it's your cousin. Sorry. Okay. She does not claim him.
Imagine if the easiest way to delight your wife is to just throw a ball across the room. Relationships wouldn't fail anymore if that's all you had to do.
Here, Tony.
Oh, hell no. Did he just bark? He barked. I don't even know what I'm getting myself into watching this shit. Beautiful Los Angeles. Of course it takes place here. You know, maybe I'll run into this person on my morning dog. This dog on my morning jogs.
People come to my house and they see my ribbons and they say, oh, you've won all these ribbons at dog shows, but they rarely ask if I'm the dog.
Yes, because that's a natural question. Someone would ask, are you the dog? Are you? Oh, shit.
I've won quite a few. This is the High Point Award for Puppy Palooza, and then these two are the best ones I have because these are my two best in shows. I got these at DomCon.
Oh my god, it's a whole thing.
My name is Tony, and I'm a human pup.
I'm Andrew. I'm Tony's husband and trainer.
Pet play.
No. They have actual dogs. No. Why'd they have to have actual dogs? It's okay that makes me feel uncomfortable, right? Like, you know what? Hello, PETA?
Okay, I'm not reading too far into Blaire's reaction here, am I? This is definitely implying that some kind of animal abuse must be happening. I can't quite tell if this is a joke or how serious she's trying to be with this point, but like, I think she's making some kind of implication about bestiality being involved here, which is just, if we have to have the pet play is not bestiality conversation in this video, it's going to be half an hour long. So fingers crossed this one is just a joke and it's not going to come back up again.
Pet play is any time that a person takes on the role of an animal and they emulate that animal, either through their behavior or their actions. Some people wear costumes. This is the first hood that I ever got. And they're now using craft. I've been involved in pet play for my entire life. A lot of kids like to play pretend. They like to pretend to be an animal and they enjoy doing it. I just never grew out of that.
I got into pet play through Tony. Once we started dating, handler is a common role for human pups, and I was glad to do it.
They say when the student is ready, the master appears.
Now, I was a little bit worried that Blaire might skip over this part of the video. Thankfully, she did not. We actually get a pretty good, concise, accurate definition of pet play, which is when you are taking on the role of an animal. You are role-playing as an animal. Now, I think if Blaire has really internalized this, has really listened to this definition, she should hopefully see that pet play is therefore not about believing you are transcendentally an animal, right?
So this is a fetish, right? I feel like I'm always asking that on this channel. I feel like I'm always reacting to and watching like really, really out there shit. And my only reaction is, this is a fetish. Am I wrong?
But instead, what we get is Blaire just glosses over that definition, and now she is surprised that this is apparently a fetish. Did the bondage gear and the DomCon LA label not give that away? I'm confused. Now, I think that some of this confusion may be because it appears that Blaire has skipped over this section in the original video that clearly says it's BDSM and kink.
There's different aspects of pet play that relate to BDSM or kink or leather. It involves gear that is restrictive or restraining.
Now, I don't know if that was edited around because of staying advertiser friendly. I don't know if she wanted to leave it out for some sort of narrative purpose, but there is a part less than 2 minutes into the original video that is literally just about, hey, this is kink and BDSM. So I'm not really sure how Blaire could have missed that and then been surprised at this later point in the video, you know?
So I'm not gonna lie, it has me really effed up that they keep talking about puppy play, pet play, and showing the dogs, like the actual dogs. Like maybe not even PETA, maybe I should call the police. Wait, are they defunded?
Now again, Blaire is sketched out by the prominence of the dogs shown as part of the B-roll footage. So I think this is a good time to maybe talk about Barcroft and Truly and the people that make these documentaries, because I do actually kind of agree with Blaire here. I do think it is kind of creepy, or maybe inadvertently kind of making a connection that shouldn't be there between what these consenting humans are doing between each other and the pet dogs that they have. Now, just from a BDSM perspective, I really don't think that you should involve biological animals in your pet play. You can wear all the gear that you want, you can make all the noises, you can have a rubber tail if you want to, but no matter what you are wearing, you are still not an actual physical biological animal, which means you don't have the communication tools necessary to be able to communicate with these animals in a way that would even approach making any of this safe or ethical. So I really think that most people who do pet play follow along with this. I really strongly believe in it. Some people may have slightly different opinions, but I don't know anybody that advocates for involving actual animals in your consensual human role play. That's just not really a thing that happens. But we have to remember that Truly, Barcroft, the places that make documentaries like this are doing so because they want to get views. They want to make money. Having B-roll footage is kind of part of making a film, part of making a documentary. So I don't know if the people at Truly or Barcroft, if they were just thinking the dogs were cute and made for easy B-roll footage. I don't know if they were trying to have some sort of narrative purpose with this, or they thought it was like thematically relevant, but clearly they didn't think through the potential implications here. And I think we have to remember, though Barcroft and Truly, which I think are the same company, they just have sort of rebranded, though they say they are about representation and inclusivity and promoting awareness and understanding, they don't really have an interest in making the BDSM community look good. They don't care about making polyamory look good, or age gap relationships, or vampires, or anybody else they've ever made videos about. They are there to make money, and so they don't have to think about the implications of how they do a final edit. And the people who are the subjects of these films do not have final say over the title, the thumbnails, the actual editing of things in the final documentary. Especially if these people were filming for 2 days or 3 days, they have a lot of footage to go through, and they can kind of make whatever narrative they want to out of that. And actually, way back in the day, this is just a total side note, there was a quite famous, quite prominent YouTuber who talked about DDLG, who did a documentary with them, and according to her experience, like, they were awful in terms of how they edited everything. They filmed for 3 days. They had all this footage of them doing mostly normal stuff and then occasionally doing DDLG. But in the final edit, they chose to focus on like the 10 minutes where she had an interview where they were purposefully asking her about her trauma history and her background and how that connected to her BDSM interests. So it really, really made things skewed in terms of the reality of what it's like to do this versus what they are trying to put forward on YouTube. What they want is clicks. What they want is people to have these big vitriolic reactions on million subscriber YouTube channels. And I think that Blaire kind of fell for that. And I think if we had maybe had a little bit more of critical thinking of analyzing who it is that are making these videos and why they might be making them in the first place, maybe we could have avoided that trap to begin with.
The first time I met you, I was dressed as a dog for Halloween.
Are you comfortable being fully out?
I don't care.
He was his female at the time. I remember that he showed up with a little like dog nose painted on. Yeah, it didn't seem weird at the time.
I just happened to have all the gear.
Well, that's uncomfortable. Here's the thing. Fetishes are okay, right? Fetishes are clearly okay. Preferably in the privacy of your bedroom, not like all up on trending on Snapchat. Let's say that first. And it's only okay as long as those actual dogs are not involved. Okay? I'm not going to assume they are. I'm going to pray they aren't. But like the way this is all presented is the actual issue for me. The identify as a dog thing. I identify as a man and also as a dog thing. Like, it makes a mockery of actual trans people, and y'all don't need me to even tell you that. Like, y'all know.
Now, Blaire states that her issue with this video is with the presentation. The idea that being a trans man is somehow exactly equivalent to being a dog or identifying as a dog. And again, I'm a little bit confused because as far as I can tell, that doesn't really happen in this video. Yes, they talk about this individual being a trans man as a fact of their experience of life. I don't recall any point in this video where they talk about like me coming out as being trans was the same as when I identified as being a dog. There's never really any direct comparison between those two facets of who this person is. It's just, hey, I'm a trans man. Oh, and also I like to do pet play. So I don't really understand exactly how this could be, quote, making a mockery of trans people unless I guess we're expecting all trans people to be vanilla, maybe?
This perfectly feeds into the millions of people on social media. Just search up the terms I identify as. It's like a big joke. Like, it's a joke. Like, I identify as a helicopter. I identify as this phone. I identify as this hairbrush. Yeah. And it adds such an extra layer that the person is actually, you know, a trans man, supposedly. Like, why are you equating, like, why are you doing that? You're blurring lines that I would prefer not to be blurred. It's like identifying as another gender. It's like, okay, whether you like it, understand it or not, there is a scientific precedent for it. There is like, we observe this. You know, some people are naturally in the population going to struggle with issues of gender dysphoria. Identifying as a dog, though, I just like to leap from that to, oh, also identify as a dog. The audacity. Like, it's really the audacity for me.
I think here would be a really good opportunity to have a conversation about how the BDSM community uses the term identify, because it appears that that is like the main thing that Blaire has an issue with, is the term identify, and that's maybe where she's getting tripped up about this. So at least from what it seems in the trans community, using the term identify, such as I identify as a man or a woman or non-binary, that is saying I am this thing on the inside and that is my individual personal truth. I think in the BDSM community, we use it in a lot more of a softer way, a little bit of a looser way, where generally when people say I identify as blank, they're meaning something that's closer to this is what I play as, this is what I do. So people identify being a dom, being a submissive, being a little, being a princess, being, yes, a pet, as part of a role play experience. That's not saying I believe my soul on the inside is identical to that of a dog and that I am trapped in a human body. That's generally not what most people mean. They're meaning, hey, this is a thing that I do in a BDSM context that's part of like personal self-expression. You know, that's generally more what people mean it as.
It involves gear that is restrictive or restraining. For example, leashes, harnesses, mitts on your hands. This is called a show tail. What I've done is I put it through a dildo harness and then I just wear the dildo harness backwards, and that gives the tail better balance. And as you can see, that's a rubber silicone tail, so it wags. And then the most important part of all of this gear is actually this guy, the ball. That's the most important part.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like, dogs love their toys. They have me making sense of it now. Help me.
That's it.
My responsibility is similar to the responsibility with a regular dog. The first
Dog. I'm a regular dog. I'm just different.
Okay. We have bio dogs, and I do train them because no barking.
Bio dog. He just said bio dog. He said bio dog in the same way that I say like bio women, biological women. Don't do that.
And here we have another example of a lexical misunderstanding. So this time it is with using the term bio in front of a pet play label. So Blaire seems to think that the term bio dog is the same as when she says a bio woman or a biological woman. In the BDSM community, it's not exactly the same connotation, right? We might give our partners nicknames or titles like pet or kitty or puppy or so on, right? Similar to vanilla people. I definitely know vanilla couples that say like dove and kitty and pet and things like that as terms of affection, but it can get confusing when you're having conversations with other people where you are referring to your kitty and you have to go, wait, do you mean your cat, like your kitty cat, like your biological animal, or like your girlfriend? And so using the term bio animal, bio cat, bio dog, etc. is a really good way to distinguish between somebody that is role-playing as an animal or has that as like a label on their power exchange versus your pet animal that is biologically, physically an animal. And also, I don't think this is a case of like trying to appropriate like trans community terminology, because as far as I can tell, this term and this way of referring to people who role play as animals versus biological animals goes back to at least some of the earliest pet play forms back in the 90s.
I can't.
So I hang out and I provide him with lots of attention and tell him he's a good boy.
I am.
That's basically 90% of it.
I am a good boy.
Hey, nice to see you. Come on in.
Y'all hear him bark when the door opened though?
Nice to see you. Come on in.
I need a cigarette. I don't even smoke.
You're so cute. I know.
I don't know if I can continue. This was a bad idea.
I have a question.
Yes.
What sent you into puppy space? Like when you put on these two things or one thing?
For me, it's being on all fours. The gear is, I don't need the gear. The gear is for you to see me as a dog.
Okay.
I don't
it's
need the gear.
Actually getting down on all fours, that's it, you're gone.
Yeah.
We don't make it sexual, but I have nothing against those who do. That's great. But more power to those who do.
I thought it was a fetish. Now I don't even know. I don't even know. Bella just walked by. I can't even look at her. I cannot even look at her. Bella, go away. Go away. I can't.
Okay, this is like the cringiest part of the video for me, I have to say. Like, I know that this has to be a purposeful question that the filmmakers included, because every single one of the videos they do in this series has to include something about like, is this sexual or not? It's like their favorite question at the end of all of these videos. And you can see that both of them are like very uncomfortable with this question. I don't think they would have brought it up otherwise, but it does provoke a little bit of like, oh wait, I thought this was a sex thing. Isn't that like what kink and BDSM is? And actually, fun fact, it doesn't have to be sexual. That is probably part of the reason why they always include this question, is because like for most people, BDSM in general, especially pet play, is not purely a sexual experience, because sex is not the only kind of pleasure out there. It can be mentally pleasurable, it can be emotionally pleasurable, it can be a bonding experience with your partner, it can be really relaxing, it can be a way to de-stress from the day, and it can also be physically stimulating and pleasurable in a way that's not directly sexual. And I know this is like maybe a confusing thing to understand for somebody who is vanilla, who doesn't have kinks, who's never done BDSM before, but trust me, like even if you are somebody that does primarily experience kink in a sexual way, you will quickly discover that there are many things in kink that you can like that aren't necessarily directly connected to your genitals. And again, I know this is kind of an unusual thing that not a lot of people realize about BDSM, so I won't necessarily fault Blaire for that one, but hopefully she can understand that point a little bit better now that I have explained it.
Ugh, bio dogs, am I right?
My family, for example, I think they have a general idea that I'm into some kinky stuff, but we don't talk about it.
Didn't y'all just say it wasn't sexual? And now it's kinky, now you're calling it a kink? At this point, just own it, okay? You're getting your rocks off. It is what it is. You're already up on TV barking and shit. Like, just own it at this point. Please.
I think everyone should try it once, and if they like it, they should try it a second time.
Yeah, no, I think I'll find a different hobby, dude, like knitting or torturing myself online watching content like this. All right, guys, that is it. I mean, this isn't it, sis, but it's it for the video.
And that is Blaire's reaction. Torturing myself on the internet watching videos like this one. Oh boy, I see we did a really great job not being judgmental and staying open-minded, didn't we? Yep, we did such a great job. I'm so proud of us today. I know, heavy on the sarcasm in a couple places, but I think that is for a good reason. Because I can't really say I expected any different. This is kind of what Blaire's content is like. There was never really an intention of understanding and discussing BDSM, just in the way that Truly and Barcroft themselves doesn't really have an interest in accurately showing the BDSM community. It is about having a narrative continually presented to her audience in a way that she knows they will already agree with. It isn't really about like, hey, let's explore the experience of this trans man as he navigates a BDSM relationship. It's about, hey guys, let's cringe at the trans-trenders. God, I never thought I would say that word out loud. Well, let's cringe at the trans-trenders and the bad trans people that are doing the wrong things and misrepresenting the community. And isn't this so awful and bad? And don't you just believe it's the worst when trans people also believe they're dogs and animals, and that's exactly the same thing as being trans? Like, that is the narrative that she wanted to have behind this video. So it never really mattered what the subjects of this documentary said. The content of it didn't really matter. She knew going into it, before even watching it, remember at the very beginning, this is a trans man that believes he is a trans dog. That was before any of the video was ever played. And again, that never comes up. So they could literally say directly in this video, no, my experience of being trans is not the same as my experience of being into BDSM, but that wouldn't matter because it didn't serve Blaire's narrative. That is why she was confused about this being a fetish. That is why she included unflattering stills. That is why she included little jabs about this person thinking and believing they're a trans man instead of them just being a trans man. It's all about serving that narrative. And as far as I can tell from this video, Blaire still doesn't care about what the truth is. She doesn't care about accurately representing what somebody really said. It's about twisting content to fit a narrative that she has already decided on before the video even starts. And I have to imagine that a lot of this is pleasing the audience that she's built for herself that does have a very particular thing that they want to watch. And I really, really hope that one day Blaire is able to learn that she doesn't have to make content like this, that she can be accurate, she can be truthful. Will she have a different audience if she does that? Probably yes, but it would also probably be a better audience. Now, Again, what I really wanted to do here is, of course, reflect on Blaire's actions and talk about the BDSM community and correct some misconceptions. So if you're watching, if you're new here, if you enjoyed this, if you want to learn more about what the BDSM community is really like, please do subscribe, because I make videos twice a week about all sorts of kink and BDSM related subjects. If you have any of your own thoughts about this video, what I said, what Blaire said, the original video, anything else, anything you have questions on, you can go ahead and leave that down in the comment section below. And finally, if you really enjoyed this video, if you want to support what I do, the best way you can do that is through Patreon. A link to that will be down in the description box below. If you already support me over there, thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. And until I see you guys next time, have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.